What a week it has been in South African politics, and what a week it will be next week in Parliament. The President addresses the nation in the 2026 State of the Nation address in Cape Town. As always, Tara Roos, CapeTalk commentator, Business Day Political Correspondent. Just 2 weeks ago, you were at that engagement of John Steenhuisen just 2 weeks ago, where he says, well, nominations only close on the 27th of February. I won't say anything before then, but here's my record. And 2 weeks ago, everyone believed he was still going to contest for the DA's leadership race. But what ended John Steenhuisen? Is it foot and mouth disease, or is it foot in mouth disease?
Arguably, it's both, Lester. Right now, many people are talking about the fact that John Steenhuisen has made the decision to say, you know what, I need to focus on this national disaster that has hit our agricultural industry. I need to take a step back from the DA and my leadership role in order to deal with this crisis. But rightfully, many people are pointing out that he could be removed from his position at any moment. The president could remove him, the new incoming DA leader could reshuffle him. And so what we're really looking at is what is going to happen next with foot and mouth. So additionally, in making his address to the public about his removal from the DA, John Steenhuisen also addressed the Agricultural Committee, in which he said that they've now procured more than 2 million vaccines in order to deal with the outbreak, and the government is shifting its response from reactive towards this outbreak to vaccine-led national strategy. He said that there will be no private involvement in the current vaccine process with foot and mouth, and he said it will only be on the state in order to procure, distribute, and oversight the distribution of vaccines. And this is a very interesting strategy. Many farmers have come out saying that we need to be able to produce the vaccines in South Africa, that 2 million vaccines are not enough for the more than 14 million cattle we have, and that if we do not vaccinate fast enough, the crisis is going to further hit the farming communities.
Is John Steenhuisen experiencing, or DA ministers experiencing now, what ANC ministers have been saying all along? Governing and policy is actually very complicated. And now, a party that was in opposition, now in government, now actually discovering, well, it's not that easy simply to roll out foot and mouth disease vaccines or any other public policy.
Absolutely. It is very easy to criticize from the sidelines. The DA did really well in opposition, but now they're finding out that governing is far more difficult, and governing in a coalition is even more difficult. And so what we're looking at now with John Steenhuisen is that the general consensus with the public is that we know he is lying about why he has chosen to step back from being leader of the DA. But unfortunately, it is not a very good lie. Will John Steenhuisen see out his term as Minister of Agriculture? Will he be able to fight foot and mouth disease and say that is also his mission accomplished? We're just going to have to wait and see.
It reminds me of George W. Bush. Iraq War, he also had that mission accomplished banner. But now it means, look, I was at a not a screening but an event last night. John Hill Lewis was there, dealt with the elephant in the room quite immediately. Blink once if you're running for the DA leadership. Do you think you'd win? And there was quite a deliberate blink by Jordan Hill Lewis, with the city of Cape Town fast becoming a economic player in South Africa, along with its deep issues of crime, housing, affordability, a water crisis that is looming. Can we afford a mayor that divides his attention between the city of Cape Town and DA national politics?
Absolutely not. And I think it's also laughable for the DA to now turn around and say John Hill Lewis could do both jobs when John Steenhuisen himself couldn't oversee vaccines being implemented. Now we are expected to believe that Jordan Hill Lewis is supposed to run the second largest metro in the country while overseeing Parliament and being a cabinet minister in the GNU. It is simply not going to work. And unfortunately, I think the DA finds himself in a very, very difficult position now. Also, what happened yesterday was Minister of Infrastructure Dean McPherson spoke to the Cape Town City Press Club, in which he said that he felt if John Steenhuisen did stand for a third term, he would have won. And we find that very ironic. It almost reminds us of the Democrats coming out and saying Biden didn't do bad in his debate against Trump. He could have won the election as well.
Talking about Dean McPherson, let's talk about Dome and Doma. It wasn't too long before since the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure says the Dome, as it's called, will be used and will be ready for the 2026 State of the Nation address. Again, things are complicated now. The City Hall would be used because the Dome is not ready.
The Dome has not been ready for almost 2 years now. The Dome was erected. The infrastructure was actually formerly from Nelson Mandela's funeral, and that's where they got the skeleton of the Dome from. And then we used it for only all of 2 months. It then got shut down, went under reconstruction. Right now, Parliament and DPWI have split the cost of over 30 million rand in order to reconstruct this dome. On the 3rd of December, MPs were told that the dome would be done by the end of January. End of January has come. Dean McPherson has made multiple social media posts saying the dome will be done by SONA. The dome will be used for SONA. Up until the 29th of January, last week Friday, Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure Dean McPherson was supposed to hand over the dome to the Speaker. Mere hours before he was supposed to hand over the dome was not done. And now today, similarly, we face the same fate. Will the dome be handed over? Will the dome be done? We're going to have to wait and see.
I'm sorry to be giggling, but like it's the dome from Nelson Mandela's funeral. It's as if it's the gazebo in your garage, and your neighbor has asked, "Can I borrow the gazebo because it's my son's 21st birthday?" And you're saying, "But I can't find the pegs for the gazebo." It's experiencing that governing is actually more complicated than being in opposition. Tara Roos, I'm not taking away your shine, but I've invited another political commentator, and he's one of these, what do you call them, TikTok news influencers. Everyone has a podcast.
But he was here before TikTok.
You're just jealous. You're just jealous because you work at Pride Media, Lester Kiewit, and you're also a tatat, and I'm proud of it. It's good to be, and there's Tara, an actual journalist. Hello, Tara.
Hello,
you and I are tatai. We're the tatat. We're Takalani Media. It's great. Hello, listeners. You're listening to a tatat talking to our politicians, so it's tatat on tatat violence. My goodness, Dean McPherson. Have you seen him, Tara?
I have.
Yeah, if Helen Ziller coughed at the third ball, it would look like Dean McPherson. If someone snacked Dean McPherson in the face, you'd get Gareth Cliff. He looks like he went to Saks in 1995.
Didn't he go to Michael House?
He's got that energy. He's just got that sort of an a-hole in a then still a movie energy. And the reason he cares about the tent is big, white and broken. It's like John Steenhuisen.
Yeah, but Chester is a podcaster now. Doesn't really care about facts anymore. You know, everyone who's on a podcast is now a political
That's
analyst.
right. I've been making up facts the entire time. That you work in the media. She works at the Sunday Times group. That she does the same thing, doesn't they? Aren't you the DA newsletter, Tara Roos?
Lester, we also have a podcast.
We have a podcast. It's called The Bull.
The Bull?
Yes.
That makes sense, actually.
Well, someone has to pay the bill. What's your thoughts on the week that was in Parliament and
It's
politics?
been insane. It has been insane. The ad hoc committee has gone nuts. I mean, Gayton McKenzie, he says he supports ICE. That ICE mainly support and arrest people who look like Gayton McKenzie. So, do ICE Gayton McKenzie or just the Mexican with a Scottish surname? I don't know what's going on. People were excited because Trump then installed the Venezuelan president, and then they'll steal Ramaphosa. But sorry, if they stole Ramaphosa, it would take us 2 months to realize he's gone.
I actually thought about this when Trump kidnapped the Venezuelan president. Like, what would our national response be if they had to take Cyril? Like, where would they take him? What would we do as a country?
I'm going to be referencing Dan a lot because I was at his show last night, and Dan raised a very important point. Have we not undermined Cyril Ramaphosa so much, taken away his authority, his aura, by continuously calling him Cupcake? How seriously can you take someone called
10
Cupcake?
million rand in his couch. He didn't take himself seriously. Please, now.
But
Now
I
John
think-
Steenhuisen
No.
needs his own GNU nickname. What are we going to call him? Fat Cook.
I think I do think the South African people would riot. Like, imagine Trump had to kidnap Cyril at the World Economic Forum. Like, we as South Africa, we would surely do something about it.
With phone ADT.
ADT, the DA's armed wing.
Yes, that was my joke from about a decade ago. The incontroversies of the DA. I forgot I did that joke.
What's your thought on Jordan Hill Lewis, Chester? You're a man of Cape Town. You're a long term.
I love him. He wants to build a 114 million rand hall, Tara. 114 million rand hall to hide poor people from tourists. 114 million rand is also the cost of a flat rental in the CBD.
That is true. I can confirm.
It's a matter of weeks before Jordan Hill Lewis builds a wall around Sea Point to protect the homeless middle-class Cape Townians from the German tourists.
But just, I know you're from Cape Town. You started your career as, in fact, a lecturer at UWC. But you spent.
You remember everything, Lester.
I remember when you were still.
Back in the day.
I remember when you were still coloured.
Wow, I said the same thing to Jordan Hill Lewis.
But you spent a heck of a lot of time in Joburg, local government.
I used to live there. No, I am very excited. I mean, this whole thing with the tent is insane. Dean McPherson couldn't build one tent. He took the works out of public works.
Jessica, what do you think about Helen becoming the new mayor of Joburg?
Well, you got to understand. Well, Helen doesn't understand Joburg, does she? Because she likes to bully her way through. That's the DA's leadership issue, isn't it? That they have this massive dictatorial a-hole in charge who won't get out of the way. She's like Gweden Natasha in a dress.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of Helen's social media content, and I feel sorry for her.
The TikToks, where she dances and tries to look like she has a personality.
But the videos of her in Joburg, like, and I've made this point before, but, like, I couldn't imagine being 76 years old and having to be on the campaign trail. Like, I think it's elder abuse. Like, I feel sorry for her. Like, the fact that the DA has now forced her to be in this position, like, it's sad. Lester, could you imagine?
As opposed to what Cyril also currently dances when he gets onto a stage. Zuma and Helen Zille famously shared a stage and a dance together here in Cape Town once upon a time.
But that's different from campaigning on the ground.
The thing is, imagine Paul Mashatile dancing. That's just hip hop because he's just doing the robot.
He can't dance. He's got too many tenders in his. You know what? Helen Zille doesn't understand Joburg because if you listen, hello, it's just Helen here. Helen Zille talks like Tia Artist Dan looks. She like she needs a stretzel, and she doesn't know how to make it. You know how to. If she was any more abrasive, they would sell her as Boulder's Warehouse as sandpaper. She doesn't know how to bring people together, and that's eventually where the issue is. I don't know.
But Chester, what is your major policy issue for the city of Cape Town in local government elections? Is it gangsterism? Is it
That's
crime?
An amazing question. I think it's social upliftment. We shouldn't be building 114 million rand wall. The solution to fixing Cape Town is to not lock the criminals in with the poor people. That makes no sense. That's like thinking if you close the door, the thought has gone. It makes no sense.
Well, what about housing? What about rentals? What's the
exactly?
cost of
How's
living?
this thing, Tara, that you can build more than one flat in more than one? You can build flats on your property if you live in a previously disadvantaged area. But if you live in Claremont, you can't. So it's just apartheid 2.0. Welcome to the DA. The DA difference. If you can't build a tent, how are you going to build anything else?
But really, if even people in the ANC says we should stop blaming apartheid because we've had 31 years of government, shouldn't the DA be saying the same? Or shouldn't we be saying the same of the DA? You've been in government in the city of Cape Town since 2006. That's 20 years.
Plenty of time to show change.
Absolutely.
They ran Joburg. They ran Herman Machado. They ran Joburg. What did we see for nothing? Look at Dean McPherson now. Look at Dean McPherson. Now we're going to have the tent ready last soda. Now it's going to be ready. Then nothing. Nux. Nothing. Dean McPherson is like one of those people who writes a 2-page essay by using 15-size font. He's like one of those people who say, "No, I live in Constantia South." You mean Weinberg.
Gosh. Chester Missing is in studio with us along with Tara Roos. It's a week that was in politics and parliament. Chester's gone out to the loo let me bring in the
I
man.
haven't got on right here. Just, you got to.
It's
Help, Lester, Tara. Phone off for it. Right, not the genocide. Okay.
Of course, the man who controls Chester Missing is the fantastic Conrad Koch. There's a new show on at the Theatre on the Bay next week. It's called Puppet Power. Again, I appreciate your work so much, not only as the man. Are you behind or are you underneath or in Chester Missing? I don't know what you are, but the man who guides Chester Missing, but also you allow politicians to say things to Chester that they wouldn't say to you or any other comedian, let alone a journalist or a broadcaster.
Thanks so much, Lester, and thanks for having me on here. Sorry about he's so abrasive and problematic, Tara. I have so much respect for journalism. Chester, on the other hand, shut up! You know, Lester, we once interviewed an EFF politician about, a drum magazine interviewed an EFF politician about the process of being interviewed by Chester just after an interview. And she said, because he doesn't exist, because he's just like a blank canvas, don't tell him I said so. It's not a human being for them to have an emotional relationship with, so they can project and let go, and it's almost childlike that they can play in a way that they can't in other situations. And our politicians tend to have a pretty good sense of humor, with one or two exceptions.
But Chester's just one puppet within your repertoire, and while Chester, and will stroke his ego, is the star, the show Puppet Power is also bringing out all the other characters that you have in your suitcase.
Yeah, thanks for that, Lester. Yes, this show is so much fun. It's people who've only seen me do politics and so on underestimate how fun it is. It's pandemonium. It's called Puppet Power because if we look around the world, the puppets are in power. We saw Elon Musk there with his Donald Trump, and we saw Ramaphosa with his Rupert. So we've got a situation where the power is being deferred, and we as voters need to take back that power. So that's what the show's about. But the fun of it is bonkers. We have a talking rat who is green, like a sort of ratatouille, called Gordon Ramsay. He's a French chef who got fired by Donald Trump because he served him a left wing by mistake. And it's just so silly. At the end, I get someone from the audience and we turn them into a dinosaur. And I've got those masks. I don't know if you see them on the internet. There's a talking ventriloquist mask. This one's made by this guy. Amazing. We have amazing special effects talents in Cape Town. He make a Tyrannosaurus Rex mask, and then because they were the last species to die out, and what if us fighting on Facebook all the time is what's going to kill us? So we just don't focus on the real problems.
But is the Tyrannosaurus Rex such as this wonderful analogy for fighting on the internet?
Perfect.
Because it's giant big mouths but tiny little arms trying to get to each other. Exactly.
It's really cute, funny idea.
Election years, is this the year, or is this part of the cycle where entertainers and comedians and puppets make their business? It is about reflecting on the last 5 years, and then also through your comedic way holding those in power to account.
I think that we are in a unique situation that stands aside from the last 5 years, in that what's happened with Trump internationally, and therefore what it's done to our local politics. Look at AfriForum, look at the white genocide thing, look at the more right part of the DA, etc. That we've had to renegotiate how we deal with the world. So that's why this show has happened now, and I think that might influence how we handle the upcoming elections. Look at how look at Gayton now saying, no, I support ICE, or blocking the amazing Gabby Goliath's art from going to Venice Biennale because she dealt with Gaza. So the international politics and what's going on in the world is going to very much shape some of what South Africans decide.
So I'm looking at some of the artwork for your upcoming show, Puppet Power. It's plenty of red, white, and blue stars.
Well, American conversation. The American so that's why Chester's in red, white, and red and blue. we're dealing with we've got the Afrikaner refugees, just as some hilarious stuff just on the madness. I've never seen such well-fed refugees in my life. You could put 3 Sudanese refugees inside one of our Afrikaner refugees. So he goes into that in a way that's playful but inclusive, and then the whole show has little bits of it. So because we're all puppets eventually, aren't we? In our relationships, in our workplaces, looking at you, Business Day. And so I've got a German mosquito puppet who he's dating a bee. Her name's Honey, and just proper silliness and madness, as well as some strong social commentary. And it's Theatre on the Bay.
I'm looking
the whole of
forward
next
to that.
week.
Theatre on the Bay. It starts on I think it's Tuesday, the 10th
Correct.
of February. That's 2 days before State of the Nation. It's Chester missing Conrad Koch, Puppet Power. Tickets are available at Web Tickets. Chester, wherever he is, if he comes back from the bathroom, I hope that he finds my appreciation.
Lester, I love you. I appreciate it. Thank you for pointing out that I am the star of the whole situation. Thank you. Thank
just
you.
after
I
8.
am to this guy what Tara Roos is to Business Day. Without Tara Roos, Business Day is over. All they got is Tara Roos, and nobody even knows where he lives.
It's just something that
He's like the Helen Ziller of journalism, isn't he? He just never goes away. Still there. No,
it's after 8:30.
Sunday.
Here's your eyewitness
Barney's there.
news.
We want to listen to Barney, but no.